Hello from Fredericksburg, Virginia again. Okay, let me start again. Let me get the right angle. Hello from Fredericksburg, Virginia again. No, one more try. Hello from Fredericksburg, Virginia again. Adam Taxin here outside the James Monroe Museum and Presidential Library. He was the 5th President of the United States, one of numerous ones from the state of Virginia. I think more than any other state, though Ohio is probably second, maybe. I didn't go in there. I'm just doing a sunset report from someplace scenic. Traditional Virginia brick architecture. What do I have to say? I guess we won't have a president from Virginia named Tim Kaine anytime soon, so they haven't added to that total for a long time, for a while. I don't know if Woodrow Wilson, who's from Virginia, really counts as Virginia. Maybe they count him as from New Jersey because that's where his career was mostly. But let's get into a great story, or a great opinion piece. I always use the term story. It's not news that I do here. That is at Tacky's Mag, currently #1 over there online, TAKIMAG.com. Some would call it libertarian. They call themselves libertarian. I would call it more, I guess it's alt-right, really, and it seems to attract a lot of people who are alt-right in the sense that Democrats like to accuse alt-right of being anti-Semitic. It attracts some of those people in the comments section in particular, but whatever. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. Go read it yourself. I have the link up there, but just a few highlights. I'm going to try to whet your appetite. Then I have a good reaction to it from Lee Cheng, whose opinion I care about a lot, one of the smarter guys and one of the bolder guys from my Harvard class. And then just some comments in there. I went through them. Boy, there's a lot of garbage about whether the Holocaust really happened or not. I'm telling you, there is a lot out there that is attracted by Tacky's magazine. But whatever. Here's how it starts. Invent a weapon, Jordan Peterson said on Tuesday, and your enemies will have it within one generation. He was talking about Gamergate feminist Brianna Wu, who was learning the hard way that YouTube's restricted mode was hurting the gays it was supposed to protect. You may be thinking, woo-hoo. Right now, get it? Right now, but you should be saying woohoo! Because Peterson's observation is profound. Not only are the bots turning on their creators, but we are too. We have taken Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and turned it into our guidebook. We are the social justice warriors now, and we're way better at it than they ever were. And that's using social justice warriors non-ironically. Usually you hear it in an ironic term. And he goes in the next paragraph as into, right now, a man in a MAGA hat is suing a bar in New York called The Happiest Hour for booting him out solely because he loves Trump. Getting kicked out of bars is pretty common for people in MAGA hats above the Mason-Dixon line. The old right would venerate the entrepreneur and quietly take the high road out of the bar. Not anymore. Since the lawsuit was announced, Trump supporters have been flooding the bar. One MAGA woman was just paid $150 to get lost. Really? Well, there's a link. I'll have to check that out later. I did read through this before. Now, Gaven McInnes doesn't need publicity from me, so unlike some of the people I will publicize, I'll read the whole thing verbatim, or like a Facebook post who aren't famous. Gaven McInnes, I shouldn't do that for, so read it yourself, but I'll give you a few highlights. It talks about the whole basket of deplorables and how fake news and how those terms were used ironically now, and how they've become sort of like powerful, fun phrases for people like us on the right. There's something about the Wall Street Bull. Someone put up a statue called Fearless Girl. I didn't even know about that till today, but it's there to encourage finance company to hire more women, and so people, of course, started humping it and taking pictures. That made feminists furious. He talks about that. They put a MAGA hat on it, wrapped her in an American flag. I love it. Today the statue has become, quote, a monument to the suicidal hubris of modern women and their inability to discern their actual abilities versus their inflated egos. Now, I love this part, and Lee Cheng and I, when I was in California a few weeks ago, had a good talk about it. I'm going to read from this part. We did the exact same thing to Shia LaBeouf's "He Will Not Divide Us" art installation. Every time he puts it up, we show up in MAGA hats and sing stupid songs until the Moonies chanting, "He will not divide us." James Monroe, by the way, never had anything like that to deal with. Till they have a nervous breakdown. Shia became so apoplectic about the direction it took, the police had to take him away. And he doesn't go into this here, but great conversation I had about what these people at 4chan are doing. They literally, Shia LaBeouf won't talk about he won't mention where he is, so people can't sort of ruin his protest by protesting the protest. So people have looked at he broadcast in real time, and people could look at the actual sunset and the wind patterns, and they managed to track him down, including overseas. And Li Cheng and I had a fun discussion about what percentage of the people involved in this aren't Asian. I don't know, but it's just a very, very amusing situation, the way they have totally trashed him by being more clever. It's really like the 1984 movie, which I loved, Revenge of the Nerds, if you think about it. Then there's, okay, he goes into this in more detail. Samantha Bee, George Takei. Let me just get to, then they have the Kyle Chapman being maced at the pro-Trump rally, how that led to the, what's it called, based stick man, hashtag. Let me just, look, you got to read it yourself, but let me read you the end of this, which I thought was great. The paragraph sends it up, just a really good writing-wise ending paragraph. We've tasted blood and we want more. Right now, contractors are bidding on Trump's wall. It's mostly construction crews, but many of them are tech companies from the Bay Area who want to handle the software involved in catching illegals. Normally, I wouldn't care who is doing the bidding because I want the free market to prosper, but I've become a right-wing SJW, social justice warrior, and many of these companies are full of PC, plural for another way, you like to call a cat. No, how does Naughty by Nature say it? Naughty by Nature sings it. It's like, another way to call a cat. Who adamantly opposed Trump and the wall. Let's find these companies and force them to face their own hypocrisy. We're the snarky little bitches now, and we're way better at it than they ever were. I honestly don't know why we wasted so much time taking the high road. The low road is way more effective, and it's way more fun. Now, my glasses are really causing a reflection here. That's it for them. I reached out to Li Cheng, who I mentioned probably like 4 times in this before, but I really had a good conversation with him about this, and also the SJW tendencies we see among alumni from our class at Harvard, and there's so much virtual signaling there, but that's not the topic here. But he wrote something not humorous here. He has a good sense of humor, but he wrote this, and I agree with it. But the choices have always been to keep sucking it up in the face of relentless aggression by the left, or to fight back vigorously. The question now is whether things will escalate further between right and left to violence, or if some incident or series of incidents will spark an awakening of a cooler, calmer consciousness of the middle who will force the extremes back into their holes. It's not clear that the middle exists anymore, though. One area of counterattack alluded to here is the law. Many legal doctrines developed by the left are in fact double-edged and can easily benefit white men and women who are underrepresented or denied equality in the name of diversity. I actually have some very creative uses for Title IX, and that's from Li Cheng. Now, I went through the comments. It's over 600 comments in there. Most of them are relevant, like whether the Holocaust existed or not. I don't know. It's who they attract. It doesn't mean Gaven McInnes is into this at all, but that's who sits around and comments all day, apparently, on this. Okay, here's an interesting point someone makes. I went through these beforehand. I'm not going to do this in real time. Believe me, you don't want me to do that. I was watching a video the other day where a masked Antifa, that's a new word that's out there, it means anti-fascist, but it's a shortened term for that, where a masked Antifa blonde was pointing out how lame progressive humor is. And I guess no one's picked up the mantle from John Stuart Leibowitz, Joe H. No Liver, and that's J-O-J-O. That's Joe, J-O, and you can spell it out, John Oliver. I call him Joe H. No Liver, and Trevor Noah, just sad. How lame progressive humor is. This statement was a surprise to me because I didn't know they had any humor. Anyway, it looked like the blonde was going to become a right-wing racist bigot and probably join the Ku Klux Klan because she likes to have a laugh. Maybe she finds Jordan Peterson amusing, and he does have some good lines, but he stutters too much, and he's always sucking on a bottle. It could be water. And then someone else about the Wall Street thing writes, but I'm sure that the tipsy larrikin who humped the statue of the fearless girl has been carpeted and probably dismissed. And that ridiculously defiant image will probably stand there annoying the bull until Trump has the temerity to kick MLK's head out of the Oval Office. But it will be nice when nationalists start suing globalists and their stooges into bankruptcy. Yep. Of course, they'll only be getting back the money that was appropriated through unfair taxes or lawsuits, judged by tin pot gods in black robes. But once Gorsuch is confirmed, a lot of their political decisions will be overturned. And then that same person adds, it's too bad about Tomi Lahren. She's only good looking. There's no reason to take her opinion seriously. How many times do I have to say it? It's too bad about Tomi Lahren falling afoul of the blaze. She was worth an arsenal of hydrogen bombs, please. But Glenn Beck might find he's the one who loses the thunder if Tommy leaves. She's worth a lot more in the culture wars than that fat, dried-up Quisling, referring to Glenn Beck. Now, Gaven McInnes definitely has his detractors. That's one thing I'm realizing. I think a lot of people on the right think he's a poser. Here's what some people wrote, and I got to include this too. I was about to say, what's this we crap? I've never seen Gaven do anything that isn't simply to increase his own brand or wealth. He hasn't overloaded. Yeah, I mess up words a lot. You know, you want perfect diction, go watch Tom Lamas or Brian Williams. I got to say that every once in a while, but I'm just, hey, that isn't my way of trying to be real, but it is part of who I am. So you take it with the rest of what I give you. Okay, back to Gaven. He hasn't overloaded family courts like fathers and families, stood guard over small shopkeepers during BLM riots like Oath Keepers, or stood against government overreach like certain ranchers. He has what? Gotten pepper sprayed while trying to go speak at a well-paid rally, thrown a weak punch at someone who got in his face, and gotten cock-blocked by Milo? I don't even know what that's a reference to. Meanwhile, he constantly disses the very structure that makes up the alt-right. Christianity, a culture's right to defend itself, its race, its country, and the distrust of authoritarians. All of these are roundly mocked by Gaven on a regular basis. Gaven is welcome to be an ally of the alt-right, but he is not a we, and is most especially not the leader like he boasts. But hey, if he wants to put himself out there as a target for the left and deep state, more power to him. Someone else. There is no compromise with the left. It's them or us. The left must be destroyed as a political force in this country permanently. I, for one, welcome the troubles to come. Someone else, not too into Gaven McInnes, writes, delusional article. If only Gaven was half as hardcore as he thought he was. And I guess that's referring to the look. You know, Gaven has a certain look to him. Gaven McInnes, Gaven, I know him. So someone else, yeah, this is an example I'm including just because it shows how some people out there on this page, you know, I'm not going to pretend otherwise, just don't like the Jews or Israel. Peace Observer writes, so you encourage petty squabbling and bitchy behavior and keyboard wars? By the way, shame, shame, shame for your trip to Israel and your disgusting, twisted cucking there. Someone else. The left are the modern establishment. They have the power, so you must use their weapons against them. Subvert their machinery of oppression and turn it against them. Anyone who doesn't get that simple truth is an effing moron. And speaking of founding fathers, is James Monroe really considered a founding father, or was he just a little too late? I don't know. But this is about John Adams. John Adams pointed out that the Constitution was designed to govern a moral and religious population and that it would be inadequate for any other kind. That's a quote that isn't said nearly enough, by the way. We as a nation are now another kind, and that is the core of our problems with an out-of-control government and its unconstitutional activities. The vaunted nonviolence of Gandhi and MLK worked not because of their character, but because of the character and conscience of their opponents. Absolutely. If you doubt that, try to imagine Stalin or Mao reacting to an enemy who adopted the tactic of nonviolence. Likewise, debate and reason only work when the other side is receptive. Sticking to principles like free speech for all, not suing over minor offenses, not getting people fired, etc., only makes sense when the same level of restraint is demonstrated by the other side. We have long since passed the point, and the conflict can no longer be won with clever arguments, high-minded principles, or forbearance. If we refuse to be as ruthless, vicious, and determined as our enemy has already shown himself to be, we deserve the defeat he will inflict. All right, so you have the link there. This is from Gaven McInnes's. What's it called once more? It's called, let me call up the title. I recommend you read the whole thing and go through the comments. It's called God Bless the Right-Wing Social Justice Warriors. Thank you for watching. Adam Taxin here outside the James Monroe Memorial. What's the exact title here? James Monroe Library and Memorial or something like that in Fredericksburg, Virginia. See you later.